Welcome everyone to episode 106 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. Here with you on another Sunday. Russell, how are we?
Very well, mate. The weather has been immaculate.
I tell you what, the last couple of weekends have been top notch. It's if this is a taste of spring, bring on the main.
That's struggling a little bit with football at the moment, creeping into the NBA chats, and it's a bit low on sort of NBA news at the moment. So I think guys are going a little bit wayward, but hopefully preseason will be here soon, and
it'll be okay. Once Collingwood lose the grand final next week, it'll be fine. We can re-record that and say once Brisbane lose, and so we've got two takes. But no, let's just.
We're not a football podcast.
Exactly. We don't know what a Collingwood or a Brisbane is. Could be anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. But basketball, actually, well, we can kick it off without basketball news. We can just talk about Panini if you want.
Yeah. Why don't we do some housekeeping first? I think.
Let's get.
That's actually important. Yeah.
It's spring cleaning, housekeeping.
That's right. That's exactly right. So I think the first thing I wanted to do is just really clarify about some of the prizes we've had going. So
yes,
we initially said one thing and then we backtracked. So I think that was probably not the greatest decision in the world. So I have to take responsibility.
I do believe the comment was we pulled a backyard breaks.
Well, I mean,
we didn't.
I mean, we didn't keep the prize in salad. I think that's a little bit harsh, frankly, but okay, I'll take that jab. It's kind of deserved. Anyway.
We kind of did.
Mark did receive his Pokemon box, so that's done and dusted. It's been sent just in the hands of the Australia Post gods at the moment. So praying for the box that it'll get there. We have to pray for these things. And then we do have a prize this week from Slabstrong, which was not donated by Slabstrong, but I definitely wanted to support Tim after his appearance on our show because it was, I think, frankly, one of the better episodes that we've had, and he was an amazing.
Yeah, Tim was amazing. Tim was great to have.
Very engaging. So I definitely wanted to, pump up some of his stock. And then, of course, with the news that he's now employed by BCW, I think that's fantastic for Tim. So we can't be happier for him.
Kicking goals.
Sponsorship news. We have some very big news. EJ Cards have re-upped and recommitted themselves with a ball of fire. I think that's the only way we can describe their...
Bringing the heat. They are, most definitely.
Yeah. So they've given us some product to give away. We'll have some announcements around that the next couple of weeks. And then we've got a promo code coming very soon, which is something we've been talking to the boys, a little bit about, and something I'm definitely keen to work on. And I'm saying this to all potential future sponsors too. Like it doesn't just have to be cash, and it doesn't have to be, prizes for us to give away. It can be some type of promo code where, it's a special deal that our listeners get. And look, I'm very happy that Rob's come to the table with that. And so...
that's exciting.
Thanks, Team EJ. Like, I'm very, very excited about this. And I want to do like a segment around this too. So we're talking about like the $100 challenge a while ago, and that hasn't played out, but I'm definitely keen to like re-kick that off. And then our final housekeeping news, which is probably the most exciting, which is why we left it for last. The Melbourne Hobby Hangout, which hasn't been officially announced as yet. But as far as I'm concerned, we weren't told to keep this secret.
No, we weren't.
Or anything like that. So, let's kick it off, Ad. We'll be live podcasting from the event.
We'll be doing the pod live from the Hobby Hangout Melbourne on, is it November 19th?
I'm literally just going through my calendar as we're speaking. Yeah, so it's the 19th. Your memory is on point, Ad.
Good, because I was about to start Googling.
I haven't seen any advertising or anything like that for it. Sydney, they're definitely advertising at the moment because I think that's next weekend.
Yeah, there's the one in Sydney's coming up.
Yeah,
that's but maybe we are breaking ground. Hopefully we're allowed to. And we're going to be there in November for yet another hobby hangout, but this time we will be podding live
on stage.
Should be fun. I reckon we'll have fun with it. I'll do my best. Shall I wear my Regulate the Hobby t-shirt?
I'm going to try and get a big hat, bigger than Tim's from Slabstrong.
With regulate the hobby.
Or just like a massive Russell Coit hat or something like that.
Just something novel. Either that or wear the that's some nice pocket change. I've got the 3 t-shirts I've got are show us your comps, regulate the hobby, and that's some nice hashtag pocket change.
Yeah, great.
But I feel like if I wear show us your comps, people are just going to be showing me cards all weekend.
It's not the worst thing, is it?
But they'll be asking me to comp them. That's the problem. Well, they won't show me cards. They'll just show me like screenshots.
Even better.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's exciting. Hobby Hangouts come around again so soon.
Look, we're honoured. We're flattered. We're excited.
Yeah. Looking for fun. It's going to be, yeah.
I'm finally not nervous. I'm just excited. I thought I'd be nervous.
I feel like once you get past 100 episodes, the nerves are gone.
I tell you what, my OCD is like tweaking about that was the sound quality.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Or it won't. And we won't have any control over that. But it'll be fun.
News. Very short list this week, but I'm sure everyone knows about this already, but we have to mention it anyway. I actually pulled this off at Brian C. Gray, which we've spoken about him on the past on the podcast. The termination of this agreement for the reasons provided is complete for our friends at home. BS. Yes, I said it. BS! ! Everyone knows what is really happening here. Everyone. Breaking news. WWE terminates current contract with Panini. So allegedly they weren't paying the royalties.
Oh, wow.
That was the excuse for that. The excuse for the NFL one was that when they signed the deal with Panini, it was a different set of executives at Panini at the time who signed the contracts. So that was why, or how they managed to void the agreement. So it all sounds pretty fishy to me. I'm a little bit surprised on this, that I have heard various sort of, not rumors over the years, but stories where Panini have been not flush with cash. But I've never heard of them.
So they're not like literally like not liquid at the time. So they're
not like a
delays.
$1 billion company like Fanatics are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, cash flow might be a problem.
Yeah,
who knows?
I'm very dubious. All this seems to me very suspicious timing, particularly when one contract terminates and then Fanatics is already like, ink on the contract the next day. Do you know what I mean? Like that to me is
I think it's
very suspicious.
I definitely think there's more than is being reported happening, and I feel like there's that's a very tip of the iceberg kind of thing, and I don't think people are going to see the whole picture ever. It's not the fun side of the hobby, the administrative, contractual, the big businesses facing off, and it's not fun.
I think that this can only be described now as a hostile takeover.
Interesting, though.
It's not even aggressive anymore. It's just like flat out hostile.
Do you think it started out that way? Or do you think Fanatics were like, there's an olive branch and Panini were like, you can't, we don't care about you. You can stick your olive branch, and Fanatics have gone, fine, you want to play that game? Let's play. Who do you think threw the first blow? The first haymaker? There
was some suggestion that Fanatics tried to buy out Panini, but the asking price was
ridiculous.
As much as Fanatics is currently now worth, right?
Yeah.
So I think when they couldn't come to an agreement, then they changed track, which was to take over and expedite the process. And then at the same time, you're also devaluing Panini, because now what are they effectively going to be left with? Like maybe NASCAR or
scraps.
Women's soccer, something like this. Like that's potential, what they're going to be left with. So,
effectively like the G League ice hockey or something, it'll be their only set, the only thing they've got. Yeah.
It's probably not enough to keep the lights on.
Yeah, true. Speaking of the fact that we're a basketball podcast, ice hockey was down here in Melbourne over the weekend.
Well,
there was an LA Kings game. I can't remember who the other team was, but
the boys from US Sports Cards Australia were out there in full force, and I actually caught up for a few drinks with them last night. So if I do sound a bit gravelly, it's because
said ice hockey game was.
I didn't go to the ice hockey game. I just went to the barbecue and the drinks afterwards. But it was a late night. Let's just put it that way.
Nice. Nice. Have we got any other crazy news?
Nothing crazy, but I definitely
Hobby-wise?
want to bring this up because I've got a bit of a sweet spot for the Orlando Magic. So there's a trade rumor out there that Cole Anthony's going to be moved. I
Ooh.
I understand why the Magic want to do this because he doesn't particularly fit their timeline, and I think that giving more opportunity to Suggs, considering where they picked him, makes a whole lot of sense. But on the flip side, I think a really good team picking up Cole Anthony on the cheap will be, incredibly valuable. So, say he goes to the Clippers or he goes to Golden State Warriors or he goes to the Miami Heat, something like that. Like that would be for me really intriguing. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye out on this one. I think in terms of hobby value,
It's
look, I
probably
sort of think he sort of is what he is at this stage, and there's
yep.
not a massive ceiling on him, but look, he might get a little bit of a bump if he goes to a contender and he
Makes it has
plays
an
like a pretty
impact.
big
Yeah.
role. Yeah,
Yep.
and has like a few big games, but I wouldn't be, you know, splashing out my life savings on that type of play. Like it's, I'm not
It's a
expecting much from that, but more just something to keep your eye out on because, he's a good dude and he's definitely got game. So
Speaking of splashing your entire life savings on cards, shall we
oh,
get to the main attraction?
yeah, let's get to it, right? That's
Michael
probably enough
Jordan.
of
This is the episode.
housekeeping and current news, isn't it?
This is the you could have, when you said you're a bit under the weather from like, if you sounded a bit under the, you could be like the flu game. There's a flu game Russ. That's you can no anyway. That's just going too deep down the rabbit hole, isn't it?
A little bit.
All right. All right.
Yep.
All right. So MJ, the rest of this episode will be dedicated to the one, the only Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Yep. And it's probably about time we dived into this guy, isn't it? Really?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of people that suggest this guy is potentially the greatest player to have ever played the game. I mean, there are
Yeah.
debates. We'll say, like, I don't know. There's arguments for and against.
Totally.
So
where does
undersell that?
Where does he sit for you on your all-time list?
He's the greatest of all time. There's no
You've got him on top. Yep.
Yeah, he's number one. It's and I mean, as much as I am a Kobe fan, I think the debate is between whether or not Jordan or LeBron is the greatest. I do think that Kobe is the closest thing to have ever come to Jordan, as far as to replicate that man's game to the level that Kobe did. Is, as well as bring his own flavor to it, I think was commendable. But he's not the original. And Jordan, God, I think if Jordan had have played a full career and not done like a full 20 years kind of gig, rather than the I suppose the broken up way his career did go with the 2 3-peats and the trip to the Wizards and all the rest of it, I don't know. Maybe he does get closer to Bill Russell's record. Maybe if the Bulls stay together. I don't know if you can keep a dynasty together like that though.
Their first three-peat, and then they had that small break. They reloaded that team quite a bit.
They did it well too.
There's some argument to be made that
they couldn't have done
having that time off, sort of forced them to retool. And because if you look at the roster that was at the end of their first three-peat, and then the roster was there at the start of their second three-peat, that's a very different team.
Yeah, there's a key name that's always there, and that is
Scottie Pippen. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like he is a key factor to Jordan's success, and yeah, like I think Jordan does owe a lot to Scottie, because he didn't start winning until Scottie showed up. But you need a team. It's 5 players on the court. It's not one. But
definitely,
as far as skill and God, the ability to just win, Jordan was amazing.
Do you want to start with your Jordan stories?
Jordan stories?
Yeah.
I can go all the way back to childhood for this one. This is when I first got into the hobby.
It's open slather, mate, so you can tell any Jordan story that you want.
Any Jordan story, as long as it's legal, right? So when I started collecting basketball cards, it was early 90s, and I had just started high school, and there were a lot of kids at school that they were collecting footy cards and stuff, but basketball cards didn't seem to be accessible to them.
Yeah,
So
sure.
down to the local newsagent, they didn't have the basketball cards. They might have one set of basketball cards, but it wasn't as readily available. And there were a couple of stores in the city that did it. And I would go into the city with my friends and I would accumulate as many base Michael Jordan cards as I could.
Yeah.
On the cheap, because they weren't inserts. They were more expensive than most, but they were still relatively affordable because they were base cards. And
Yeah.
I would just buy up Jordans and then just flip them at school, and that funded my Scottie Pippen collection. Funnily enough, so yeah, I got into the hobby as far as the buying and selling of basketball cards at a very, very early age. Realizing that there was a big need for it with all the kids that didn't know the shops to go to or weren't allowed to go to the certain shops in the city. And facilitated a lot of deals. Many, many, many copies of that lovely Upper Deck 92, 93 or 93, 94, those iconic Jordan cards.
Yeah.
Many copies of those flipped for sure.
Yeah, look, I think, and that's probably something that is pretty clearly playing out now, is just how often Jordan cards are bought and sold.
Yep.
I
Oh,
think we
yeah.
use the phrase liquid, and one thing I will never debate is the GOAT of cards. I think the all-time GOAT in playing basketball is a completely separate argument, and frankly, I'm not sold on like who's number one. But in cards, in my mind, I don't even know who's number two, to be honest. Like, it's just such a huge, gap between one and two, whoever two is.
Yeah. Like, even just recognition wise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, there are a bunch of people that don't know basketball. They've never watched basketball, but they all know who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he transcends the game to the real world. Yes.
Any more Jordan stories you wanted to share?
No real stories. I suppose I've got a couple of cards that I've got, and I guess there's a story. There's always a story behind the cards.
Come on, mate. I just need to prompt you a little bit. You'll give us a story.
There's always a story behind the card. So, the first one will be, and I'll share an image up in the Facebook group or in the I'll do it in the Facebook group later rather than try and post it in the live chat. The first one is from the 1990-91 hoop set, Series 1, I believe, and it is Sam Vincent of the Orlando Magic. Does not seem, you may not have heard of him, however, in front of him in this image is Michael Jordan wearing his very famous number 12. And for those that aren't aware, the number 12 was only worn for the one game against Orlando when, somebody had stolen his uniform.
Yeah.
Stole his 23. So he had to actually wear the number 12 that night. It's the only night that Jordan
Rumor
wore 12.
has it was a young Juan Garcia.
I was going to say it was there are rumors and there is a warrant out for Juan's arrest in Orlando. That's not true, by the way, just in case we get...
Pretty sure that's true, Ed.
It could be true. Who knows? Wait until the transcript comes out. It'll become fact. Sam Vincent, not a common known player at all. However, this is the only instance in card history with Michael Jordan wearing the number 12. So this moment was captured in history. Another one of those lovely, quirky NBA cards that, I mean, you can pick those up for anywhere like $10 to $20 for a graded one. Like, it's not gonna... Yeah, they're not going to break the bank, but they're definitely it's a piece of history in my books.
Yep.
The other one, because I only really had two cards that I thought, because I mean everybody's going to contribute with their, I'm sure there are listeners that will have their favorite cards. The internet explodes with their favorite cards, etc., etc. My other Jordan card is Johnny Kilroy from the 1993-94 Upper Deck SE set. Now, there is a little bit of a story behind this card. Now, when Michael Jordan decided very, very abruptly to call it quits at the end of the 93 season.
So we're talking his first retirement?
Yes. So
Are
he
we
stepped
gonna tiptoe around that? Are we gonna lay down the conspiracy theories
about why he retired.
about the gambling and it was like a league enforced
Oh, you reckon it was
rest?
he
There is a
was
heap. There's a lot of stuff on the internet now about it. Like it's not.
it was interesting because it was
If you enjoy conspiracy theories, just basically Google about Michael Jordan's enforced rest year.
there well, this little story here, it goes, nobody knows how to market like Nike. Nike's made some of the most memorable TV commercials of all time, and
Totally.
Nike's marketing genius has helped lift the brand to its singular place in business. So when Jordan retired in 1993, nobody saw it coming. The Bulls had just won their straight championship, and the 1993-94 season was on the verge of starting when MJ stepped away from the game.
Yeah.
The most important question for everyone at the end of it was, why is he leaving the game he loves? So Johnny Kilroy comes along. Michael Jordan never wore the Air Jordan 9s on the basketball court when it was originally released.
Was Johnny Kilroy a bookie?
Johnny Kilroy is the alias that Nike created.
Sorry, I'm ruining your story.
Bookmaker. So the Jordan 9s weren't worn by Jordan on the basketball court. There was a baseball version that was created because obviously he had his stint in the minors.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Right?
So they took that design and put it into a baseball shoe, did they?
Yeah.
That's
So they
kinda
made
sick,
a baseball version because he's Jordan. Yeah. So Michael Jordan did wear a baseball version of the shoe on the diamond, and his statue, which sits outside of Bulls Arena, has the 9 on its feet. So the statue is actually wearing shoes he didn't wear.
That's kind of weird.
That's
But
odd,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So Nike couldn't promote the 9 using MJ the basketball star like they had done in the past. So what they did is they created this fictional character named Johnny Kilroy as an alias for Michael, and the Nike marketing team created this persona that they ran a series of commercials for. It was basically a Super Bowl commercial focused on Steve Martin acting as an investigator, looking into sightings of this random basketball player who looked a lot like Michael Jordan. Random sightings across the country of Johnny Kilroy. So it also, the ads also featured, I think Phil Jackson got on board. It says here Alonzo Mourning and some other notable NBA players. So
yeah, cool.
Upper Deck actually made where were we at? Johnny Kilroy made his impact on the popular culture. Outside being an iconic commercial, an Air Jordan 9 Johnny Kilroy shoe was released in 2012. And Upper Deck also made a basketball card in the 93-94 SE set, which was the one you see up on the screen. So, yeah, that's the other Jordan. He's wearing the number 4.
Yeah, right.
So it is actually Michael Jordan, but they sold it as Michael Jordan doesn't play basketball anymore.
Yeah.
It's Michael Jordan still playing basketball, but he doesn't play basketball anymore.
Yeah. And look,
he
the
still
irony
wants to
is
enjoy
now,
it. Yeah.
people still buy shoes year in, year out. And, what is he, 20 years retired now? Yeah.
Now I want a pair of the Johnny Kilroy.
Interesting. So, yeah, that's a good story, actually. I don't mind that at all. I'm not much of a sneakerhead, though. Are you someone who's got 100 pairs of shoes put away in your cupboard?
No, I've only got a handful. But yeah, I don't know. Be interesting to have a pair of the Jordan 9s, the Johnny Kilroy edition. Quirky.
You got another one for us?
No, that's it. That's me done.
Did you want to run through some cards or anything like that?
No, those 2 cards were the ones that come to mind when I thought of Jordan. I mean, I did touch on my favorite, which is like the 92-93 Upper Deck, the base card. But as I said, this can be for the for those playing at home tonight or yourself.
Yeah. So I think if we're trying to, for me, sort of going back to the start, I was always a little bit, I don't know if I did it deliberately or not, but, sort of trying to go against the grain of sort of the popular culture. Like, my best example is I enjoyed Megadeth more than Metallica. You know what I mean? Like, and then, so for basketball, I liked Hakeem better than Jordan. And then, if I had to choose between Jordan and Pippen, I like Pippen more because I felt he was a bit more of an all-round game, So
Yep. Yeah.
I
Yep.
was never someone who collected heaps of Jordan. And actually, I looked through my Jordan pile to
Hmm.
do this, and I think I've only maybe got like 5 cards. Like my actual,
Wow.
yeah, my number of Jordans that I've got in my collection is like incredibly low. So that's, to be fair, is something I need to, fix quick sticks. I think that's the fair thing to say. But I dug this up out of my bookshelf because I used to be a massive bookworm when I was a kid. So my mum used to just buy me books all the time, and it's this book called For the Love of the Game, which is actually written by himself. It's like essentially an autobiography, but about his playing experiences and his interactions with people. And like he has a page dedicated to Scottie Pippen, and there's
Oh
a
wow.
really beautiful page he writes about his conversation with Magic when Magic told him that he had HIV, and all the
Oh wow.
photography in it is really beautiful. Like it's a great book, but it's also very self-indulgent. And I'm saying that in a very polite way. You could also call it slight masturbatory sort of material for him too. Like it's pretty full on in some bits. The guy really demonstrates the size of his ego, and like he built you could almost call it a shrine to himself, like a trophy room in
Wow.
his house, and sort of got all these like trophies in there. And it's look, I mean, he's earned it, so like that's fine. And but I could also understand how that wouldn't appeal to everyone's. So
I guess once you get to Jordan status,
you do whatever you
you're
want.
entitled to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can
You can kind of do that.
build your own shrine.
That's it. I mean, the man can
So
walk the walk, so he's welcome to talk the talk.
yeah, look, I probably, as much as that gave me admiration for him, and
Mm.
there's maybe some things I sort of took away from that in terms of perseverance, and he speaks a lot about that, and learning from failure and stuff, which I think is really good lessons. There was also
Yeah.
parts of it too. I was kind of like, geez, this does sort of put me off a little bit. So that sort of made me even stay straighter, towards loving Pippen and loving
Yeah.
Hakeem. So you know so really for me, this episode is actually a big opportunity to actually just go back and then look at all the Jordan cards that are out there. So
Yeah.
I've basically made 4 categories. So card ladder score,
Mhm.
cards that I like. There was just one that just stood out. Then I went through some high value stuff like the exquisite patch autograph stuff.
Yep.
Then I found a card which is, I'm going to call this one the highest non-rookie, non-auto, non-patch card. And
Ooh.
then I thought we could do the 1984 Star versus the 1986 Fleer debate because, why not? It's an episode dedicated to Jordan. And then we've
Why
got
not?
everyone's contributions they have. So I'm not going to spend too much time going through all these cards, but
No,
what I
that's
did
fine.
do, and I'll put the link into the podcast description if you do want to go home and look at these pictures. And I tried to put them in order too, so hopefully I'll get all that right. But we'll start with the big boy, the 1986. So I think the thing for me, the takeaway from this card is, there's 2 things I wanted to discuss. Is that there was some discussion at one point this was going to be a $1 million card. Remember during COVID when there was that sort
Let's
of
see if I.
crazy investors that were bidding against each other, and the celebrities were bidding it up. So the highest it got to was $600,000. This is for the PSA 10. The current price is sitting at $200,000. So those guys have taken a massive hit. I'd be very skeptical as when they'll get that cash back. The pop count on it too is not enormous, but it's not tiny either. It's 320. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
in today's standards, that's micro, isn't it? Really, that's nothing. But so I think I'll just sort of lay my cards on the table, and I'm probably spoiling my second segments a little bit. But I think when we get to like the higher end stuff, when we start looking at the patch autographs and stuff, I think if I did have that type of money to spend, that's where I'd be sort of diverting my funds down. And this
Mm.
is what I sort of worry about this card in terms of the value of the card. It's just basically a printed card that the population's quite high. And then remember when we did that segment about how this was like the most counterfeited card, and how there's all these different
Yeah.
printing people that were doing it in the different series of it and stuff like that. So
What about
that's the
the,
other
the
thing
the National? What about all the copies at the National saying we weren't
that
going to be
puts me
able?
off, man.
Yeah. Yeah. For
That
sure.
really puts me off buying this card. So I think, and what I said at the start of this episode too, I think is really important. My knowledge for this Jordan stuff, isn't there. And I probably think that's the other reason why.
Mm.
you probably make arguments each way. You can say, well, I could get ripped off on a patch autograph too, but I somehow feel safer than buying this particular card, which I know to be the most counterfeited card in history. So
Yeah, true.
So going down the list, so we've got the Topps Chrome from 2002, which is Jordan in the Wizards uniform. Look, I think this card is significant because, interestingly, on Card Ladder, it's only on PSA 9. There's no
Oh,
data
wow.
on, PSA or... Did I say PSA? Yeah, PSA 9. Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking BGS for some reason. So it's sitting around the $70 mark. So
It's not the best quality image on Card Ladder.
it's not great, is it?
It's all right.
But I
For
think
those
the thing
playing at home, I am snipping those images for the masses so we can talk about them. But the ones you're talking about so people can see.
Yeah. And I think what I like about that too is the price point, so that really gives you an opportunity to get in and
yeah,
get
for
a card
sure.
that's heavily traded. And so, you've got a very good chance to get into that. The next one's the 1989 Fleer. I don't mind this card, actually. I think the color scheme is excellent. I like it how it's got the All-Star banner at the top. That's, a nice little touch onto it. It's a sticker. That's probably the thing to, keep in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about stickers as a whole. Maybe what you could actually do is just go to the 1989 base. That's another opportunity.
Yeah, that's true.
So interesting though, the sticker is selling like double the price of what the base card is. That's really interesting. So the pop of the sticker, the pop says it all. The pop of the sticker is 84, and of the base card, it's 1,100. Okay, that's simple maths, right? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
If you go down to a PSA 6 though, you can get one of those for $10. So that's me sold. I'm totally fine with that.
You're gonna go to PSA 6 sticker.
Well, not particularly, but I'm saying like if you were desperate for that card, and
you got a PSA 7, you can get one for 12.
Really? Why would you pay 10 if you can pay 12, right?
And get $50 for a PSA 8. Oh, I'm going down the rabbit hole. See?
No, it's so easy to do, isn't it? Yeah, I'm trying to keep going quick because otherwise this will be like a 5-hour episode, 1998 Topps Gold label, Michael Jordan. Oh, this was a black label and a gold label. This is just a cool card. And so I was a little bit surprised on this in terms of pricing. And this is what I want to talk to you about. This one was that, is this the type of card that you buy in at $740 and then just over the years, it just slowly trickles up? Population on this is only 39. And then every now and then you see cards spike up. Is this the type of card that it does have a spike there on, to be fair, but if you take out that single very high sold price, it's been actually pretty consistent, moving through there. So I like that one. This next one is iconic. Everyone will know this one at home. If you don't even need to look at the picture, the Stadium Club. I actually more know these cards for the Beam Team. It's funny, like when it was being catalogued, it comes up as Stadium Club, but I always call this one the Beam Team. So I like this one in terms of collectability, maybe more than the last card, just for the fact that, this card is, sort of so iconic. And even someone like me who's not a Jordan aficionado, knows this card. You know what I mean? Like this, I didn't even need to look this card up. I was like, I want this one on my list. The really interesting thing about this, though, was the price point. So $5,700 for this one. So, so just flashing back to that last one for a second, I think that actually gives me more reason to buy that at $700. Like that's where I sort of see that room to move. Even if you say it only gets to 50% of this one, that's still like a good, $1,800 it's got to move.
For sure. Yeah. No, that's the Beam Team's a very recognizable insert set for sure.
If you were on a budget, you could drop down to the PSA 6.5 and you could pick one up for about 180. So, but remember when Joe Fu came on our show and he was talking about, I can get a Jordan for 500 or I can get a Shaq for 10? Like that actually...
Yeah.
I'm literally stealing his line now, but it makes so much sense, doesn't it? Like what he was saying. It's like the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right, the Scoring Kings. We have to do this one. And this is crazy, this one. So if you look at Raw and you go to the Card Ladder map, albeit I'm looking at the all-time, but there are so many dots on this chart, you literally can't see all the dots. So in
It is
terms
the
of,
most sold. It's got to be one of the most sold Jordans.
so in terms of something, being moved around like hotcakes, and for a Raw, it sells for a lot. So if you go to the last 3 months, it's sold between $889 and $150. So there is a
Sheesh.
huge amount of variance on that.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. Like it's
Yeah.
even like the last 6 months, it's the same. It is literally like an amusement park ride.
Have you looked at the PSA 10 price yet?
Nah, I've got mine. It defaults to Raw. I think I clicked your link.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I did it on Raw for the link. So guess what the PSA 10 price is, man? This is a fun little exercise, actually.
I'll just start off with 10 times that, so 2,600.
Yeah, 17K the last one sold for.
PSA 10.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
It's
No
slowly
wonder
trending.
everybody wants one.
Yeah, totally. And if you go to like the 1 year data, it's basically just a very slow upward line. So,
Yeah. It did bottom out a little bit. It's a couple of years. Oh, that's through the COVID crazy time. Yeah.
yeah. But
Okay.
if you sort of go after that downward, after that
Yeah.
COVID crazy, and then you look at that, it's been a very
it's
sort of
heading
slow.
back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that sort of.
John O'Michael's in the chat, the most overrated card of all time.
Really? I mean, look, we have to give some kudos. We're going to get to Jono later. We have to give him some kudos here, but I think that's a little bit harsh, Jono. Just a little bit harsh.
Not about a 9.
Look,
oh, look at that. The PSA 9 is where my guess was.
yeah, right.
2,700
Okay.
last sold.
So this next one is a very selfish one. This is the 1997 Hoops. I like it just because of the color scheme in the background. It just looks like a sick looking card. Interesting though is it's a Hoops card, and I think we've said this before. They actually do a lot of attention to detail to the inserts
cool
and stuff
stuff
like that. So I'm not shocked that this card is here. So looking at the raw on this, it sells for $565. I'm not going to lie to you. I would feel very anxious spending that much on a Hoops base card. PSA
Agreed.
10 sells for $9.6. Look, the numbers is there, isn't it? Like there is a play that you'd be buying these raw and send them off.
I guess.
But geez, you got to have some fortitude. Yeah. All right. So now we go into the high value stuff. I think this is where this conversation kind of gets fun, actually.
Fun. Because it's imaginary. We're never buying any of these cards, right?
100%. This is like,
this
totally
is Fantasy
fine.
Island.
Absolutely. All right. Precious Metal Gem from 1997. This is the green. The population is 2 on this. You need to go to the all-time sales data because the all-time data on this, it's been sold 5 times in total. The last sale of this was $900,000, and that was in 2020. Do you know what's so funny about this? Do you remember the discussion around this being sold?
No. I'm just thinking that I could swap this for a house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 900,000 USD, by the way, too. So, but interesting that, actually that could be $1 million card, and that the rookie card has been thrown around as that, never get there in a million years, right?
Amazing. This is a population of 2, though.
Yeah. And it's numbered to 10. Sorry, I should have mentioned that too. That was a little bit misleading, but that's okay. 2003 Exquisite Collection. So this is if I had to, gun to my head, this is the one that I would choose. Vertical patch on-card autograph. The picture of him isn't amazing, but at the same time, it's kind of cool. It's just his head. Just his head in like the top third of the card. Nothing overly fancy. It's just, just nice. I think like how we would describe flawless these days. Just looks quite nice,
Wow. That's hang on, I'll get for those
There's
playing.
not a lot of sales data on this stuff. So if we go down to the PSA 9, there's a bit more sales data. Sorry, BGS 9. Excuse me. Last sold for 69,000. And I know this is absolute crazy talk now, but I would rather have, say, 5 or 6 of those than one of the rookie cards. I'm dying. In fact, I'm dying on this hill. I don't
dying on this hill. You want one of these rather than the rookie? Yeah, no, that's fine.
I just think they're more valuable than like a card that's been printed, out the wazoo.
And
you don't even know if it's legit or not. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, the closest thing to one of these is a Jersey Fusion Don't take that segue.
Oh man, a Jordan jersey fusion.
Gimme. Ugh.
Hey, sorry, it's just segue here, and this is more of an off the air conversation, but I actually want to reach out to the guy from Jersey Fusion and have him on the show.
Oh
How
boy.
awesome would that be? Like, I know we joke about it, but seriously, I
Yeah,
want to
let's
talk to
do it.
that guy.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It'd be good. I'm in.
2003 exquisite. This is the East West card, but so obviously it's the wrong way in the PSA holder. Exquisite collection. Again, patch autograph. The last sale of this was for 456,000. That's a PSA 10. If we're looking at raw, actually, I don't want to say that's not horrible. 1,900. That's high. That's high. I'm not saying it's not high, but it's not house money either.
It's not out the realm of a house. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even a house deposit.
No.
Yeah.
2003 exquisite collection MP-MJ. This is when that looks like a finals uniform to me. And yeah, autograph going up the side of the card, north-south. Last sale of that at BGS 9.5 was 456,000. So we're sort of getting towards, house money on that.
Yeah.
And then $42,000 raw that sold for. Have I done the last one?
That's a beautiful card.
Not bad, right? Yeah, not bad. This is a fun activity, isn't it? Just going back and looking at this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Last one, 2003 exquisite collection EM-MJ, emblems of endorsement. BGS 9.5 last sold for 511K. And then let's look at something else. What have we got here on the cheaper options? Yeah, the cheaper options is still pretty high. So there was one sold in 2020 for $150,000 at PSA 9. So that's, just a massive, massive, massive card, isn't it? All right. So
That's
this card
huge.
falls under the heading highest non-rookie, non-auto, non-patch. And would you like to guess what set this comes from? I'll at least give you that. Unless you've already clicked the link.
I can see the title.
Scrap that.
So I would guess Skybox.
Good guess, Adam. How did you guess that?
Actually,
1998.
I think my guess would have been metal, like the
Would have
Metal
said
Universe.
PMG or something like that.
Yeah. One of those kind of.
Look, I was shocked by this, honestly. So this is the 1998 Skybox Molten Metal Michael Jordan Fusion Titanium numbered to 40. This sold for $350,000. Population of 2. That sold in 2021. So obviously we're not talking about something that's, fluidly traded by any means.
Yeah. There's not like, you're not just sort of digging one of these off the floor.
Yeah, I think this is where you need that little bit of local knowledge. But, and please guys at home, correct me if I'm wrong, I actually believe they used a drill to drill these out. I'm pretty sure these are the cards. So that makes sense why they would be so difficult to gem. Jono, if you know the answer to that, please fill us in live. This is where we need Paris on,
Yeah, to go
we need
back
him
to
as
the
a
history.
consultant, an online consultant. All right. Now, the last subheading I made was 1984 Star versus the 1986 Fleer. Adam, at gunpoint, which are you taking?
I used to say an 86, but I think there's enough of an argument now for the Star. And knowing my history with quirky cards, I think the Star is my card of choice, just because it's the different one. Like that's. I mean, I led with Sam Vincent, so I feel like that says that I would be about the Star card rather than the 86 Fleer. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to own one, but yeah.
So if this is the hypothetical, the guns to your head,
Yeah.
I would go for the Fleer just because some things are what they are and you just have to go with the market.
Yeah, fair.
That's how I'd go with that. The only thing I would add to that, though, is that if I was going to purchase one, I would basically employ somebody as a consultant for the day to give me advice on it, to tell me, what to look for, what to be careful of.
Yeah.
And then I would only buy one in a PSA slab. So that would be the 3 things I would add to that sort of piece in this hypothetical world. If we click on the next link, it'll take us to our listener contributions. So I thought we could go through these one at a time.
I'm all aboard for the. That's from everyone on Instagram and Facebook. That's
Yep. Twitter was like a graveyard, but that's okay.
that's because it's not called Twitter anymore. You didn't go to X. You got to go to X, not Twitter. Twitter doesn't exist.
It will never be known as X in my mind, Adam. Never.
Well, that's what.
I'll be in the cold, cold ground. Andrew
Right.
Suter Hewitt will always be the GOAT in my eyes. He literally brought the NBA back into the limelight. Yep. Safe to say he also brought the hobby into a worldwide phenomenon. My two big MJs, one was a luck Raz win, and the other was a kid's dream turned into reality. And his is the 86-87 Fleer, a
Wow.
BGS 8. So that's, yeah.
That is
I got to ask,
amazing.
Andrew, do you have it in a safe? Do you have it in like one of those sort of, temperature controlled boxes that you see from time to time from people?
Yeah,
His
that's
second contribution is a signatures card it's a Tar Heels one, 25 out of 45 on card autograph. That's, yeah,
whew,
beautiful.
bringing the fire.
Absolute fire with the first contribution too.
Yeah, first two cabs off the rank of the 86-87 Fleer. And then that is numbered to 45. Funny. It was 23 of 45. That's a crazy eBay one of one, by the way.
That's a eBay one of one right there.
Imagine that 23 of 45. Whew, nice. That's a beautiful card too.
Sorry, can we segue back to me for 2 seconds? I know we just did my segment, but I didn't tell you about the Jordans I have in my collection. There is one I want to talk about specifically.
Yes.
It's the 88-89 Fleer, which is the one where he's shooting that jump shot over, it's Kevin Willis. And I actually bought this off eBay when I was, you just find out, oh, there's basketball cards on eBay and you just sort of go in there and you buy one. So I bought that, I reckon, around 2016. So I've still got it in the same top loader that the guy sent it to me in.
Really?
Yeah. And I want to send it off for grading one day because if I remember correctly, I think I paid like $30 for it. My dad was like, I hope you know what you're doing, son. Paying $30 for a card. I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. Just thought it was a good looking card.
So what set was it? I'll get.
That's out of Fleer. So Fleer 88-89. Yep.
Fleer 88-89. Is that the same year as the sticker that we showed?
I don't think so.
That's 89 Fleer. Okay.
Yep.
Bugger. Base.
Look, I actually just went to 130point.com. I'll message it to you. That will be easier.
Cool. That's all right.
Yep.
I was just
because it's possible that the listing is wrong and I'm telling you the wrong thing,
Still a good story. Next one. Next we're back to the listeners.
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry, I've finished interrupting the listeners.
That's all right. I got my two cool stories. You can definitely have a Jordan story. Matthew Hull.
Oh, you need to edit this one, mate.
Why?
There's an R. Kelly. There's an R. Kelly reference that I don't think is
Jordan is the reason I was in
our
the hobby. Powerful despite the rise of NFL and soccer. Nothing will compare to getting a Jordan or watching him play as a kid. Space Jam was the coolest thing ever. And way back in the day, I remember early mashups of a kid getting a pair of pumps. And then Shaq and Kobe. The GOAT is Jordan. Yes, well, thanks, Matthew.
That was a very broken up piece of dialogue there, and it probably didn't make sense, but we did have to edit that out quite severely.
There was some
We'd be removed from the airway.
Yeah. Some serious paraphrasing about going way back when.
The link will be in the podcast description, so if you do want to read Matthew's response, which is excellent, by the way, it's just
it was a different time.
Late night podcasting, yeah.
That's it. It's You Can't Comp This After Dark. Oh goodness! All right.
So let's talk about the card that he's put up. This is a cool one.
Which one?
So if you click on the comments, he put his card up in the comment there. So
is this the 93 Upper Deck?
Yep.
Yep. The first three-peat when he's
celebrating. Yeah, it's got a cool story to it.
Yeah,
it's very easily recognizable.
Yep, it's a good card.
I'm gonna go out onto a limb and say that the price point on that card is not massive either. So again, a nice little entry point for people that aren't spending house prices on cards,
Yeah.
which I can't find, but that's okay. Do that. Mark Cahill, my only access to MJ was through Steve Carfino on Channel 10's NBA Action on Saturdays. Loved every second. So, for our non-Australian listeners, Steve Carfino was a American basketball player who came out and played in the NBL. And
Yep.
then when he retired, he became like a TV show host who basically did like a rip-off of NBA Action from the States.
Yeah, it was
And then did this sort of,
it's
they
like
did highlights and they did game summaries and
where
yeah.
are Steve Carfino.
And yeah, I mean, Jordan was front and center every episode, wasn't he? It was,
Played for the Sydney Kings.
yeah.
What was the show? Was it on
He's called it NBA Action.
NBA?
I mean, which is literally a rip-off of the American NBA Action, isn't it?
Here is a clip. This is Steve Carfino, and Russell will have to watch the Facebook live stream. But yes, for the Sydney Kings, he used to host our regular basketball show on is it Saturday morning or Sunday morning? But I
He's
do
saying
remember,
Saturday here. Yeah.
yeah. But
I mean, it was probably replayed, right? It's not like Australian TV was that dynamic back in the day.
yeah. There's so yes, Steve Carfino advertising "White Man Can't Jump." There's a YouTube clip.
Oh man, look how young he is there.
That is yes, that is for those playing at home. Oh goodness. So yes, yeah, I do remember getting all the around the league, the NBL, best of the NBL and the NBA. Steve Carfino was the voice of basketball for a lot of
Yeah,
us.
he was, wasn't he?
Juniors.
Yeah, he did all the commentary and yeah.
Yeah. Who's next?
Luke Head Griffiths.
Finally purchased a Jordan jersey today. They're so
Congrats, Luke.
expensive.
Yeah.
Well done on the purchase. And yes, yeah, they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all.
I mean, I'm going to flog this horse to death. I mean, I've heard that Mr. Garcia's got some cheap ones going at the moment. Lukey, you could hit him up. He's in Melbourne. He'll post you one down, mate.
Oh goodness. They've been
Dane
authenticated,
Neville.
I believe.
Yeah, that's right. He'll get you some good photos to go with it too for game authentication. Yeah.
You get to choose your game, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Dane Neville, possibly the nicest card in my PC. In my opinion, Jordan is the most amazing athlete of all time. Yeah. And he transcended from sport to mainstream culture, didn't he? We probably should have mentioned that.
He did. He transcended the sport. He's just...
Oh, right. This is a nice card. Bioman's Best Atomic Refractor. These are really good.
Yes.
BGS 9. Yeah. Nice card, Dane. Thank you for the contribution, mate.
Yeah. I haven't got an Atomic Refractor. I've just got a normal refractor from that set, and they're beautiful cards.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very nice. There's also a die cut version, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Yeah. Bowman's. Love it. No, that's a beautiful Jordan.
So, Ad, we'll need to scroll down a little bit to James Gregory next.
What have we got? More answers. All right, James Gregory. I walked past him once when I was 12 or 13. The stepmom's cousin designed shoes for Nike in 93, 94, and I got to go to the head office in Beaverton, Oregon. Beaverton, Oregon? Yeah. I knew he was there, but was told not to talk to him unless he talks to you. My cousin was showing me around and walked past a set of double doors, and he walked past me in a corridor. That is a story. They also
Did you see his aura, James? That's the question I want to know. Was it like sort of, what color was the aura? Was it white or yellow? Or
at that point, James had passed out and fainted. It was no. They also had a deal for the office workers there. Apparently, 6 family members once a year get 85% discount, whatever they can physically carry. Whew.
You want to strategically pick the family members to go in, wouldn't you?
Yes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, next. Oh, here we go.
Jono Michaels. Thanks for sharing, Jono. I was very keen to hear what you had to say, actually, and you definitely did not disappoint. In 1993, I went to watch the Magic versus Bulls, Shaq and Penny versus Jordan and Pippen. This started my card collecting journey of Jordan, Shaq, and Penny. He missed out
We
Pippen
missed out
for
on
some
Pippen.
strange. I would later name my son Jordan Michaels after the great man. That's some very good wife convincing, by the way, Jono. That's like, I absolutely love Jordan cards, having collected for close to 30 years now with some time off in between. My Jordan rookies are one of my most prized material possessions. Yeah. I also became obsessed with Jordan memorabilia. I currently have UDO authenticated 7 balls, Jordan signed, 4 Jordan signed jerseys, 4 signed shoes, a Jordan breakthrough signed, Jordan wing signed, 8 Jordan signed photos of various sizes, and 1 Jordan Space Jam cell signed.
That is a
That's
collection.
That's epic, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you for that. That's none of those were going on pocket change.
No.
No. What have we got? We've got a couple left. There we go. Jared Begg, favorite cards of his are probably the Fleer Metal and Metal Universe cards. Yeah, there's some beautiful, beautiful cards there. Remember taping games from SBS so I could watch them. Where I was on in the early hours of the morning, had my room covered in posters. The amount of us that had just NBA players, particularly Jordan, everybody had something Jordan. I think if you played basketball, yeah, these cards, the Metal Universe, crazy good.
Yeah,
just the I don't know, the aesthetics. Like even the base cards are amazing. Yeah.
So when you used to set your VHS to record, did you used to do it 15 minutes before and then 15 minutes after the scheduled time was supposed to start and finish? Because I used to hate it. You know, sometimes like SBS would start the show like a couple of minutes early, so you'd miss the tip. And then sometimes they would overrun and then you'd miss the end. I was like, oh, they used to
It was I discovered that with the playoffs.
grind my gears so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Taping playoff games, you'd have to tape half an hour after, just in case.
Yeah, just in case, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Timothy Price. I don't have any Jordans really worth talking about. I think, like most collectors, I'd love to own a rookie card one day. Yeah. Well,
I'm
look,
with that.
I would say, hopefully, Tim, I've maybe changed your perspective on
$20 you can get a Johnny Kilroy
or a
Sam
a
Vincent
patched autograph. Well, maybe not.
Wait, which is a sticker?
It's not
There's
a direct
sticker
comp.
for $12.
Yeah. It's not. It's probably not apples to apples, is it? But there is some argument to be made. You could almost put them into the same price point at different, grades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, Anthony's just responded. I see no reason we can't finish off with this ad.
I would I think that's a great idea. Here we go. Yep. And we have Anthony Milne, for those playing at home. Wow, that's a beautiful trio right there. Late entry favorite, took me ages to hunt these 3 down. What set is that from? Are they all the same set? Yeah.
Looks like Upper Deck, 1997.
Yep.
It's
97,
testing my eyes. I'm
98,
not going to
Upper
lie
Deck
to you.
something.
Yeah. And looking at the way he's got those laid out, I think he's put them like that purposely.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're 1, 2, 3.
Like yeah.
That's
nice chase, Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's amazing.
All in PSA 10, I see.
BGS 9.5s.
Sorry, bad joke.
Rough. He got them converted from PSA 10s to BGS 9.5s in an attempt to get black labels.
That's right. He's under that. He's put up a video ad, and I'm just looking at that video now. This is from Instagram at milneycard _ slab-a-rooney. MILNECARDI _SLABAROONIE. That's pretty long to type in, but
it's all right.
If you want to follow him on Instagram, I'm sure he'd love the follows.
I'm playing the video and I'm seeing how it comes out. There we go. God, my ability to technology is getting better. Not to
dominating tonight, man. Yeah. So on Instagram, we had 3 comments, but really 1 response. We had 2 we had some emojis from Card Fever. So thanks, Card Fever. Definitely agree. Nice. On your assessment that he's the hobby GOAT. You didn't actually say anything more than a goat emoji. So I'm going to apply my own interpretation of that emoji. And then you put down some fires, and I think that was for the Photoshop editing that I did of the picture. So thank you.
There's 6 bits of fire, and he won 6 championships.
It could be for that.
Could be, but
I didn't interpret it.
I think your
I thought it was for
interpretation
the
is very.
photoshopping.
I'm gonna retract that. I think it's definitely the photoshopping.
Yeah, the Photoshop. Yeah,
for sure.
House of Dragic. Definitely follow this young man on Instagram if you do not already. So house_of_Dragic. He does a lot of OC, and it's all about Goran Dragic, and I love that sort of deep dive into people's PCs. The influence of Jordan has on my enjoyment for basketball is limitless. This is reflected by the huge amounts of joy it creates, even pulling a 1990 Skybox base card. Yeah. And it's true, isn't it? Like, if you open some of those packs or boxes, you feel awesome when you get a Jordan out. It's just
it's
great
one
feeling.
Of those cards you just pull a Jordan and it's always makes the pack better.
He absolutely hit that on the head.
Yeah, definitely.
This next submission is from an anonymous contributor, but basically he wanted to share his story about how he bought a $53 of Upper Deck. It was a tin from 2003 and 2004. He bought 3 at the time. And in one of the boxes, and I believe it was the first box he opened, he got a on-card autograph from the Authentic Signature Series in it. So for a $53 box, as the boomers would say, those were the days.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy
Back
good.
in the day. Yeah, crazy good. Yeah. Imagine that.
Our last contribution is going to be from Sunny_boy83. Now, this wasn't a contribution to the show. This was just something that came up in the Instagram this week, and I was like, this is perfect to put up.
Yeah.
It is a game-worn patch from Fleer. It's called the Michael Jordan Missing Links. His comment in his post is true GOAT, greatest of all time, 6-0, which I think he's referring to his finals records.
Yes.
It's just God disguised as Michael Jordan, says Larry Bird, and then he's got some hashtags in there, which I probably don't need to go through, but yeah. Sunny Boy's been very supportive of us in the show, so thank you so much for all your support, and it's always good to catch up with you, mate. Yeah. An hour and 10 minutes, Ad.
Yeah, I think we've done Jordan proud.
Yeah.
I think we've done quite well. Jono's a bit shocked in the chat there. He's
shocked.
Anthony, how did you track down all 3 UD3? So you got that Jordan chase, those middle one I needed. Yep. So yeah. Oh, there's some Insta links in the chat there from Jono talking about
beautiful.
See some crazy Michael Jordan memorabilia and stuff. But yeah, that's that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Yeah,
heaps of fun. See, the off seasons is really, really. I mean, we could talk about the grand final, or we could talk about some of the greatest basketball players ever.
I'm beeping out, mate. In fact, I'm going to take a timestamp of that right now.
You're going to beep me out. You're going to censor me.
I'm gonna beep out that you said
grand final.
I have to beep it out again. Huge thanks to our sponsor, EJ Cards. I can't tell you how excited I am about this ad. It's just fantastic.
Yep.
We are definitely looking for other partnerships, though. So if you think that we could do something together constructive that would benefit everybody, and particularly our listeners, please reach out to us.
Reach out.
Facebook's easiest, but Instagram, Twitter, all the rest of it. And then, Hobby Hangout coming up. We'll be speaking at that. That was the 19th of November.
19th of November, where
Adam, we need to pick our best contribution for tonight for this Slab Strong. We just about forgot.
John O'Michael says he'll sponsor us because we're legends. In the chat. Right. He wants a Slab Strong slab protector. That's why. No,
he wants the Slab Strong. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'd go for. My vote goes for Anthony's. That last one, that complete set. I was in shock. Like, that's the full set. The UD3. That's my vote.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that,
because that's a GOAT level chase.
And it's also too a bit like when you do your assignment at 11:59 and hand it in, and then you somehow get an A.
Yeah, yep. The last minute, the runner up, close runner up, was the 25 of 45. If that was 23, that's winning
That's
everything.
right.
A lot.
Yeah.
Can't.
But look, thank you everyone for contributing, because that was just fantastic, and we really appreciate everyone's.
Yeah. And if anyone's got better footage of Steve Carfino in that Channel 10 basketball show, wasn't NBA Action? That was the overseas one. There was a local one that he did for the NBL, I'm sure.
I reckon they ripped off the name, and that's like a very
Game time
1980s
or
Australian
something.
thing to
Yeah.
do. You know, they just Yep. Alrighty, guys, peace out. Have a great week.
Thank you, everybody that submitted stuff. Thanks for tuning in, joining in the live chat. Thanks, everybody, for all your support, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and remember, guys, if you got your kids for school holidays, it's just one more week. You can do it.
We'll get there.
You can make
we'll get
it.
there. Awesome.
See you
guys.
guys.